Representative Carl Seal took me to meet Arizona House Speaker Andy Tobin a few months ago. And he wasn't in. He must have known we were coming. This was even before I started videoing anybody. They now seem to want to avoid me. But nonetheless, as we left the office, I saw sitting on the desk and very carefully placed in the outer office something that told me all I needed to know about Andy Tobin. There was a copy of the Arizona Republic. Now, I realize that probably no one in this room reads that newspaper. I've never read it once. But nonetheless, Andy Tobin and his Senate counterpart, Steve Pierce, absolutely read it, and they absolutely accept as axiomatic the absurd notion that that newspaper, if you can call it that, speaks both to and for the people of Arizona, which is an absurdity. But they believe it, and that matters. That's how they govern, because they believe that what they read there and in other similar publications represents what the quote-unquote mainstream believe, which of course they do not. I'm going to end here with a few brief quotes from Rules for Radicals. Fourth rule.
Excuse me, sir. Could you get to the point? All that you've covered, we're well-informed people of the Judeo-Christian community here. We would like to know what to do. J.D. Hayworth told us that Senator McHale,
I'm about to get to that, sir. Thank you. Fourth rule. Ridicule is man's... All of this will come to a point, and you're about to hear it. Ridicule is man's most potent weapon. 13th rule. Pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. 9th rule, the threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Whatever it is that's threatening all of the people that I've named here, it's effective, and they are actually succumbing to it. Always remember the first rule of power tactics. Power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. It makes no difference how many people actually read or follow the so-called mainstream media if we believe that it's the mainstream and we refer to it as such, then we will believe, like the politicians, that they actually do speak for America. Most conservatives that I speak with say, I never listen, I don't believe any of that, but they assume and state everyone else does. That's the big lie, everyone else doesn't. Basically, I'll say this to you in conclusion. All of us have family, friends, email lists. We have far more influence than we realize, and we need to use that influence. I suspect most everyone in this room, in fact, does that. You do forward emails. I try to limit my forwards to 2 a day. Some people, I get dozens a day, and I can't read them all, but if I find something very informative, I pass that on. And in doing that, I am standing up for what I believe, and you are doing the same when you do so. Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, silence in the face of evil is itself evil. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. We cannot control what others may do or not do. We can, however, control ourselves, and that we must do. I suggest that you consider reading my book. It is full of information about both the crime itself, if you will, of the fraud of the President of the United States, but more specifically, or in addition, the crime of the media, specifically the so-called right-wing media, in perpetrating this fraud. And without their help and collusion, it would not have been possible. I'll conclude with this. Then said Jesus to those Jews which believed on him, if you continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Cold Case Posse came about as a result of many of the people in this room. Brian Riley has told me that he was inspired with that idea, and I absolutely believe that. Mike Zullo and the Cold Case Posse may save America. Now, having said that, America will not be saved in Washington, D.C., or even in the sheriff's office, but by the people of this country.
That's right.
I would like to say now, in introducing, at least briefly, my next honored guest and speaker, that Lord Christopher Monckton is not only a godsend, but a national treasure. And we are grateful that he is enlisted in this battle, and he has no dog in the fight, if you will, other than the fact that if America goes down, the freedom throughout the world will be at an end. Absolutely. So I think we should all give him a great welcome and round of applause for joining us.